African advocacy groups in New York are calling for action after they say two boys who just returned from Senegal were attacked at school by kids yelling Ebola. Members of the African Advisory Council held a news conference with the young boys and their father yesterday, where they explained how weeks of bullying and taunting led to an attack on school grounds.
They were on the playground. Suddenly, these kids were yelling around him, Ebola, Ebola, Ebola. They then jumped him, kicking him, punching him. His younger brother heard him scream, and these other kids jumped on him as well. Where was the school staff where all of this was happening? These kids are supposed to be in school, and they're supposed to be safe.
New York City Schools Chancellor Carmen Farina issued a statement saying, "We will not tolerate intimidation or bullying of our students, especially in this moment when New Yorkers need to come together. We are investigating this incident, and we take this matter very seriously." Ruben Diaz is the Bronx Borough President. And so thank you so much for being here, Mr. Diaz. Let's talk about the atmosphere in this school. We are told that the bullying did not just begin on the date of this incident, but it happened before that. What steps are being taken, not just to make sure that these students would be safe in school, but that African students in general will be safe?
Well, first of all, let me just begin by saying that in the Bronx, our prayers were answered when the 5-year-old boy that many people read about and was feeling ill because of a respiratory ailment, those negatives on Ebola came back negative, and for that we're thankful. On this particular case, what we're seeing here is not just in New York, but throughout the nation. Unfortunately, there's been this sensationalization of Ebola. And more people have to understand that there's got to be a happy and optimal medium here where we can educate folks. In this case, in the Bronx, we have a large African population. That's the reason why in 2009 I put together this African advisory task force headed by Charles Cooper. And what we don't want is for the population to become so hysterical that in this case we have kids that are being pummeled and jumped inside of school buildings. That is unacceptable, and I'm happy that the Chancellor put out that statement, and we're working with the family, we're working with the schools, we're working with our advisory task force to meet with the Department of Education to make sure that this type of bullying does not happen again.
Yeah, and of course we all know that kids can be cruel, and that is an unfortunate part of growing up, and that bullying is something that all schools are trying to eradicate regardless of the Ebola outbreak. But we have other examples, obviously, of adults who've also taken the sort of fear of Ebola, the inordinate fear of Ebola, to the wrong place. There's another parent in the Bronx who has said that her daughter has also been bullied in school and also been taunted with the Ebola, taint, and said that her business is actually suffering as a result of people's fear of Ebola. Let's take a listen to that.
I am a hairdresser. I do hair. Now the business is slow. I have a customer on Saturday. She came to me. She came from Connecticut. Her friend told her, "What? You go to the African people to get your hair done? You wanna catch the Ebola?"
Yeah, and of course, this is not just limited, obviously, to New York or to the Bronx. We have examples of a high school student at a soccer game in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, a 16-year-old who had moved from Guinea 3 years ago, who was taunted with chants of Ebola by players on the opposing team. You have a 6-year-old who used to be proud to call herself Liberian, now hesitating because of the teasing. You have someone whose daughter was called to the principal's office to ask when she was last home, and the 13-year-old's family was from Ghana, where there have been no reported cases of Ebola. We can't say enough that this is not the entire continent of Africa that it has seen Ebola outbreaks. But has there been any sensitivity discussions in the school? I know there are general bullying discussions that take place in these schools about not marginalizing or specifically singling out African students.
Right, and people need to realize that we need to just tamp down the hysteria here. We need to educate ourselves. Tomorrow in the Bronx, we're having a huge forum on this, working with the Department of Health here in the city of New York, and that anyone, if they're going to get this virus, is not just because they're African, and that's something that we have to educate folks. In this case, with the kids coming from Senegal, the last time that there was an Ebola case in Senegal was in the middle of the summer, and so people need to understand that we need to educate each other. Parents need to talk to their kids, whether it's on Ebola or not. Bullying needs to stop at home, and it starts with the education of parents. What we're telling people mothers that, again, this disease is very difficult to contract, that you have to be exposed to somebody who's very ill. This is the type of information that we're going to give out tomorrow. These are the type of questions that, working with people who are medical experts, we're going to get this information out to folks in the Bronx. Certainly, we don't want a growing African population in my borough to be targeted, especially during this time when there's so many unanswered questions, when people need to be educated, and we certainly don't want our kids to stop going to school. In this case, this is the 6th grade and 8th grade boys, the Drame brothers. They were beat up by more than 10 students, and that's another issue that we have to address. How is it that this can happen inside of a school building? But what we don't want is for people to just target the African population, because again, this is only happening in a segment of the African continent, and it is just a way for people to target a particular population. Is unacceptable, is disgusting.
You know, indeed, I think you've absolutely spoken for so many people. I want to also bring into this discussion Charles Cooper, who's the the president of the African Advisory Council of the Bronx, as well as Ousmane Drame, who's the father of Amadou and Pape Drame. Drame?
Yes, Drame.
Drame. Okay, so it's wonderful to have you all here. Thank you guys for being here. I do want to start with you first and talk about, I mean, in general, you know, my father was African. There was, you know, teasing that went along with people who are of African descent, regardless of what's happening now.
Yes.
But has there been increasing incidences of bullying as a result of the Ebola outbreak?
Absolutely, and I'm an immigrant. I came here when I was their age, and I experienced bullying and teasing, as you mentioned. This is more heightened. This is more vicious. You know, the stigmatization that goes along with Ebola, no matter what country you come from. They come from Senegal, from Liberia, but you know we're all in the same boat.
Yep.
We're getting different occurrences of Ebola stigmatization on the train, bullying on the train. I commend Mr. Drame because he came forward. Oftentimes it's difficult to put a face to what's going on, and because he was strong enough to come forward and let the African Advisory Council know of what's going on, and he asked us to advocate on his behalf. More and more folks are coming forward to say, this is happening to me.
Yeah.
You are not alone. This is happening in Staten Island. This is happening in the Bronx. This is happening in Harlem. This is happening in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And it must be stopped.
Absolutely. And I want to start and ask you, Ousmane, when your lovely boys came to you, and I see we've got the soccer ball here, and you're Amadou, right? Yeah, Amadou is on the end. When your boys came to you and told you that this happened, you know, tell me that story.
Yeah, these things happen since they get to they have 2 weeks. They have 3 weeks in this country, 3 weeks only. The 2 weeks they stay in school. The first 3 days they don't have any problem. Since the mayor, the governor, the politicians talk about Ebola, all the children pick up that word. In their classroom, they don't call them their name. They don't know their name. They call them Mr. Africa, Mr. Ebola, Africa, Ebola. Like, you know, nobody do anything. They come to me in the beginning, tell me, Daddy, they call me Ebola, they call me Africa. They don't want to know my name. I say, don't worry, you know. In time, you know, they will know your name. If you know you play good soccer, they will play with you and things to come.
Yeah.
Okay. The biggest mess is the time they start beating them now.
Yeah.
They say it's over. It's too much, you know.
And when the bullying first started, when people were taunting them and calling them names, did they tell a teacher? Was there any intervention by adults?
You see, by myself, I'm an educator. I'm a member of the Senegalese Association. I do all the controls. What happened is Ebola. We have a lot of complaints in our organization. Our breeding shop is closed. Every African woman who go to the supermarket try to buy some food. If you touch the meat, nobody don't want it anymore. Trust me, even the supermarket owners, they don't want us in their business. You know, we have to do something to fix this problem. These children, if they go to school, in the gym, to play in the gym, they say, no, you have Ebola, you don't play. Yo, you come from Africa, I have Ebola. Yeah, I see in the TV, you have Ebola, I don't play. These children, they don't want to let them play. For 3 days, 3 days in the gym, 3 days in the gym. They don't touch the ball. They just sit down like this and go to classroom.
And to add more harm to injury, you know, this happened in the courtyard, you know, in which kids are supposed to be playing. This was during lunch. The younger one was by himself because no one wanted to play with him. There was then taunting, oh, you have Ebola, get away from here. Suddenly, he was surrounded by a group of kids that threw him to the ground and started punching him. He screamed. His older brother, who was far from him, heard him and ran over to him. When he ran over to help him, he was jumped on by those other kids as well.
If I may add for 1 second here.
No, and Ruben, because this does feel, I mean, this is obviously a definite physical threat to these young boys, but it sounds as if there should have been, even before this physical altercation happened, some kind of intervention to protect two little boys in school.
Again, and that's a separate conversation and issue that we will have with the parents, with the schools, with Charles Cooper and the Department of Education. But what I want to say on Ebola and all of the information that's going out there is, you know, what we don't want is for people to be stigmatized, right. Especially the doctors and some of the patients, and God forbid if we have any more patients in the future. To me, this is almost reminiscent of what we saw around HIV and AIDS. And what we don't want is a bigger problem here in the future where people, because they don't want to be stigmatized, because they don't want to be bullied, should they find themselves with some type of symptoms, that they don't want to tell anybody. And that's the reason why we have to educate folks. That's the reason why we have to educate the parents. We'll be dealing with the Department of Education as it pertains to the bullying inside the schools, whether it happened because of Ebola or not. That's a separate issue. No child should be going to school and get beat up in the schoolyard during lunchtime. But at the same time, we want to make sure that everyone calms down. Don't target anyone, whether you thought that they have Ebola or not, because what we want is for people to feel comfortable with coming out in case they have symptoms.
Well, and not only that, but to really understand. I mean, I think you can't even say enough or stress enough. You know, we're talking about 3 countries where the outbreak primarily has taken place: Liberia, Guinea, Sierra Leone, declared Ebola-free were Nigeria and Senegal. So there's just people not understanding the basics of the outbreak itself, but then also applying that stigma across the entire continent and anyone African.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you know, we want all kids to feel safe at school. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're African, Hispanic, Asian, Caucasian. We want all of our kids to go to school, to feel safe, to learn, and to play like kids. They're kids.
Absolutely.
They're 11 and 13-year-old.
We all have, the solution is there. But what I'm telling you, the politicians supposed to correct the language.
That's right.
And the second thing, every politician need a team, communication team, who tell them how to talk, teach them how to talk. Let me tell you something. The diamond from Liberia is around the corner.
Yeah.
The diamond is around the corner. The diamond distillery around the corner. They take the diamond. Let me tell you something. Our children can pass the diamond. I wouldn't know when this diamond come from Liberia.
So
why they can teach the same way in these Ebola things?
To destigmatize people.
What we're looking for is a greater outreach to the community.
Indeed.
It's obviously the kids are not well educated with respect, and the parents also.
And the adults.
And the adults.
Because the adults are the ones that have to do it. And I want to, we are out of time, but I want to say to Pape and Amadou, Amadou, you should be very proud for standing up for your little brother. I think that's wonderful that you did that. Right? And Pape and Amadou, I'd love to play a game of soccer with you guys.
We are very proud
anytime,
of them. We are very proud of them in the Bronx.
Very, very proud of them. Lovely children.
Bronx.
Amadou and Pape Drame, Ousmane Drame, thank you so much for being here. Ruben Diaz Jr., obviously Charles Cooper, thank you very much. We appreciate all of you being